So today is the day we install drip edging and shingles. After today, the roof will be done, right? Sure, we'll go with that. Drip edge is a thin sheet of razor-sharp galvanized metal that has a few bends in it to be able to direct water away from the edge of the roof, where it could get in and under the OSB sheathing. You don't want that, so you do want drip edge. Why do I emphasize that it's razor sharp? Because it cut me pretty good. Be careful and or wear gloves. This drip edge is in 10-foot lengths. That way I can wrap it around corners and overlap it at the peak or roof of the ridge. According to my video files, this is day 19 of building the shop shed. I'm still doing this after working full-time day shifts every day. So it's taken a lot longer than if I was just to take a few days off and do the build. I'm not really sure I could sustain building more than a few hours per evening anyways. And it helps to pass the time during these trying times that we are in. Overlapping is good when you're trying to keep water out. You can see how the bend there slots into the lower edge, making a tight bond. And then I fold over the top part. Now I'm ready for the shingles. I'm using 3-tab fiberglass shingles here. They're cheap and easy to install and last 25 years. I start by making a bunch of starting row shingles by cutting off the tabs. The tar there will be used to keep the first row of tabs locked down under the roof. These get nailed on all around the perimeter of the roof. Hey look, my dad's back. He's a courageous guy. Here we're discussing a strategy to lay these out the quickest, easiest, and best way possible. I wanted to lay them upside down, but he was the voice of reason and convinced me to lay them right side up. Or we're talking about what we had for lunch, I can't remember. Now that we're laying shingles, the roof jacks have to once again come off until there's enough shingles down to nail them in again. So, here we go. First shingles are laid. Some people like to just lay full shingles on the end and then cut them off once installed. I like to cut them on the ground and nail them in place where they look good. I'm using a coil roofing nail gun here. It uses different nails than a framing nailer. They have a bigger head and a shorter shank. Great for shingles. You don't want to use a framing nailer for the shingles. Just like the tar paper or felt paper, you start from the bottom and work your way up so you get a nice overlap that directs water down and away. You can get a few courses going at the same time by cutting the next row up of shingles off at the next tab. So you can cover lots of ground or roof. You can cover lots of roof quickly. You want to stagger the seams between the rows of shingles. When I have a few courses up, I reinstall the roof jacks. These get nailed under the flaps in the new row of shingles. Now that the first few rows are up and the jacks are in place, I can whip through the rest of these shingles pretty quickly. And as you can see, I nailed while my dad brought up the stacks of shingles. We got a lot done this day, so now on to the ritual of blowing the compressed air out to clean the pallet for the next day's work. So much for getting it all done in one day. The next day came and I wanted to get as much of the shingling done as possible before my dad was off work. I know he likes to help, but I don't want to overwork him. He needs to last another 40 years or so. All I can remember from this day was that it was hot and the sun was shining hard up there. Roof work sucks. It's monotonous, hot, dirty, grainy work. You can usually reuse any shingles cut to length at the end at the start of the other side, but some are just too small to use, so you throw them to the ground. Here again I overlap the top by about 4 inches. I'll do the same on the other side, so in all with the cap shingles, there'll be at least 5 layers of water protection at the ridge. When the shingles are in the sun for a bit, they get hot and are easily bent into shape. Now you just give a quick upward hit of the hammer and the roof jacks slide right out from under the shingles. Then you just peel a shingle back a bit and nail the nails that were holding it up in there flush with the shingles. They get covered by the flaps of the shingles. Very cool idea, whoever came up with that one. My dad made it just in time to start the first row of the second side. Some people snap a chalk line to make sure their rows of shingles are straight. Ain't nobody got time for that, so I just eyeballed it. The rows were surprisingly straight, which wasn't a surprise really. If I would have had a doubt, I would have struck a chalk line. The roof isn't that big, relatively speaking. I tell you, that scaffold, a great investment. A back saver and a time saver. I should write a song about it. A love song. What rhymes with scaffold, other than old and bold? As I become more old and less bold, I use the scaffold. First couple of rows done, so I can install the jacks again. Here my dad cuts the starting shingles and passes them up to me as I install them. Then it's bam, 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 just nailing them in as fast as I can. Hey, another song. Bam, 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 as fast as I can. Bam, 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 as fast as I can. Bam, 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 as fast as I can. I might just write my next album during this video. Every once in a while, we stop and tell each other how hot it is and how tired we are. Then we get back to work. Here I messed up. I didn't nail in one of the shingles, and upon working back to that area, I found that I had to take a few of them off and reinstall them. Heat stroke will do that to you. We were running out of shingles here, and the light was just starting to fade to gold, so we called it a day. I ordered 10% more shingles than really needed, but I didn't account for the starter course all around the perimeter of the roof. So when you buy yours, count those. Another day and another chance at a hit song. Here we go. I thought I only needed one flat of shingles, but it was actually cheaper to get 3 of them in a contractor's bundle for some reason. Good thing too, once I actually started installing them, I remembered that I needed to do the ridge cap shingles too. Those are 1 tab wide polygons that fold over the top of the peak of the roof to provide maximum watertightity. Maximum watertightity. No song there. So the last row of shingles on this side folds over the top like the other side. That makes 2 layers of tar paper, felt paper, 2 rows of shingles overlapping the top 6 inches. Then we'll put the cap shingles on there as well. Should be good for the rough Utah winters. Time to make those cap shingles. Here, let me show you. See how that line of tar is still there? It secures the shingles to each other. That's the theory, at least. Well, it's been proven here in the last week. We had Category 3 hurricane-like winds here, and although the fence blew down and thousands of trees around the valley fell down, the roof remained unaffected. Gave proof through the night that our roof was still there. Yeah. Nah, that one's been done before. My dad came by thinking he could help, but I already did it all. Sorry, Dad. So he just started to clean up the job site. There you go, all roofed up. Time to take the roof jacks off. Thanks for watching again. Next time it's door and window time. Door and window time. Nah, that's been taken too.